Good day, all. My name is Omari Dyson, and I am your professor for Conflict and Culture PCS 309, both for the honors class and also our non-honors class. So with that being said, I just want to welcome you guys, and it's an honor to work with you guys this semester. I may have the opportunity to see some of you all face to face, but for those that I'm not able to see on a daily basis, I wish you the best this semester, and please let me know if I could be of any support to all of you all as we go through this process. We do have a pretty large class. I think we have about 60, going on 60 students for the class. So it's going to be a busy semester. There's going to be a lot of perspectives. And I just ask that when we engage in conversation online during our weekly posts, that you be mindful of other people, other people's perspectives and differences that they bring to the table. And let's allow this to be a learning community where we're able to share our ideas, share our thoughts, and be able to embrace other perspectives as we engage in this discussion and understanding what culture and conflict is. So I leave you guys, we're going to first begin the class with a video introduction, and I do apologize to some of you all who have emailed me in regards to some confusion. I had to make a shift in the video post so that you all can post your videos. So what I'm looking for you all to do is post a 2-minute video and just giving me a brief introduction to who you are, your major interests, hobbies, etc. But also I want you to focus a little bit of attention on defining what culture and conflict mean to you. And what we're going to do, and my goal for this is, one, so that I can get a visual representation of who you are and some of your perspectives as it relates to these concepts, but also to see how you've developed as a person by the end of the semester, because you're going to revisit your initial post, and we're going to see how your perspective on culture and conflict has either stayed the same or changed by the end of the semester. So with that said, that's the direction that I would like to go in with that project. Going into this first week, and again, apologize, I'm still waiting for UNCG Online to release the course to my Canvas account. So what you do all have is the first few weeks, basically the framework of the direction that I would like to go in for the class. You for the first week, reads, which I believe are going to be due next week. I believe that's when the discussion is due, next week, Friday. I have five readings that are up there. 2 of them are coming from Martin Luther King Jr. As most of you all know, we'll be observing that next week, Monday. So it seems apropos that these pieces are selected for this week. And for those people that have taken me and have class with me before, you know that these are my foundational reads. One is Martin Luther King, Where Do We Go From Here? The second is Martin Luther King's Breaking Silence, I believe, Beyond Vietnam, Breaking Silence. So those pieces are critical pieces when we just think about understanding this role of culture and conflict and the role that voice plays in addressing particular issues. You know, at what point do we begin to utilize our voices to speak against a social wrong? And what are the consequences of this? You know, if we say that we embrace society and embrace each other, then does that mean that we should have the opportunity to express ourselves, even if our views are counter the perspectives of the dominant culture or dominant belief system? The third read that I have you all have going to read is by James Baldwin, which is The Negro Child, His Self-Image. And it's one of my favorite pieces that Baldwin begins to really explore the notion of culture, the notion of education, and the purpose of who we are as a society as it relates to properly educating people and addressing identity. And so for those that are understanding and going into this notion of who we are, I think that it's a critical discussion for us to think about what impacts social society, what impact does politics have on who we are as a person, and how we define ourselves. You know, when we go back into understanding what culture is all around us. Culture is how we speak. Culture is how we think, how we wear our clothes, the music we listen to. Culture is all around us. Culture is constantly changing, you know, from the macro to the micro level. You know, we're all shaping culture in so many different ways. So during the 60s onto now, we have to think about how, you know, how did culture and how do these leaders address specific social wrongs then, and how do they speak to the social wrongs of today, if you believe they exist. The next read I have is another read by Elk, which is a nice small read that you have. And the other piece I have, let me check on this to make sure I didn't add another. As you can see, this is real time. Make sure I have the right piece up here for you guys, because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. And these are, again, in your file section. When you go to Canvas, these are in your file section and in beginning reads. Almost forgot. Yes. And finally, you have one piece from Elk, which is your inner piece. And that's actually a piece that someone, I was in a meeting last semester and somebody mentioned this person by the name of Black Elk. Have you heard of Black Elk? And it's a great small piece to really begin to think about change and where does change really emanate from. And then finally, I have a piece from the Black Panther Party, which is called Educate to Liberate. And for some that do know, I've done extensive work with the Black Panther Party. I shouldn't say extensive, but I've had my share of work in working and studying with the Black Panther Party. And so this piece was a piece that I found, and I had trouble finding the actual original article. So I had to find the newspaper and retype the whole thing. And as you can see, there are some little areas that there's an error there. Maybe one or two. That's because I couldn't see it on the newspaper. But you guys can read the paragraph and probably gather what is actually being said. But with this piece, I share this with you all to really think about, again, the role of education and what role does education play in shaping who we are as individuals and as social agents, and maybe social agents of change. One piece that comes out of this is this notion of power and understanding as individuals, what is our role when it comes to dealing with power. And you're going to see that theme flow through all of the readings as it relates to that terminology. And that's something that we're going to explore a little bit later on as we progress through the semester. So with that being said, for the first week, I want you guys in your first discussions, I want you to look at these five articles and begin to think about your concepts of culture. And what is it that these individuals, you know, what similarities do you see between among these writers as they begin to talk about aspects of culture and conflict? And they're not saying it bluntly, but how do they still speak to this notion of culture and conflict, and how do they diverge in their concepts of culture and conflict, and how they converge? So I want you guys to really begin to grapple with those concepts. And if you're able to tie in certain current events, that would be great. And because, of course, we're still dealing with so many different areas and issues of culture and conflict. So I want you guys to begin to tie in these pieces to what we see going on today. I'll be checking out these posts as we move forward, and I'll keep you all posted on my conversations with UNCG Online and making sure that those modules get uploaded onto your Canvas. And also, I did upload a file for you all if you all are interested in looking at a definition of culture. But under beginning reads, I have a presentation for you all that you can check out on Culture, and let me know what you think about that. But with that said, have a great semester, and let me know if you need anything.